I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and I saw a post by Nick Headley, someone I never followed or knew about, and it was talking about the 40-hour workweek. The post read, quote, two inevitabilities ahead. One, universal basic income will gradually become a mainstream tool for fighting inequality. And two, the 4-day workweek will become the norm in the 2030s. End quote. While the first one is an entirely separate video that will be coming soon, the second point is what we are focusing on today, a 4-day workweek. As some of you already know, YouTube is not my full-time job. I used to work for Best Buy. I work Thursday through Sunday, 4 days and nearly 40 hours each week, and go to university Monday through Wednesday. So when I talk about the 4-day workweek and its advantages, I am speaking from both a consumer, an employee, and the perspective of someone who is a business owner. So I began doing what I do best, research. I have spent hours pulling over data points, reading articles and dissertations, and validating sources and running background checks on people in order to ensure I am delivering to you the best possible content with accurate facts. So if you need any of the sources, everything is linked down below in the description, right above the like button. While you're down there, if you wouldn't mind, subscribing and liking the video, it will help me make these videos more often and provide me more access to scholarly sources, which is another video that will be coming soon. There's also an audio transcript and script for those who are hearing impaired, also linked in that description. According to Business Insider, quote, employees are quitting their jobs at record rates, with many citing burnout and not feeling valued. To attract and retain talent, more companies are adopting a 4-day workweek, end quote. This comes in the midst of social reforms due to the pandemic. However, it is important that we do not misinterpret the spike in interest as the first time there have been talks of regulation and standardization of work hours. 1817, the Industrial Revolution. The peak of industrialization was also the peak of what we would consider health, safety, and human rights violations. During this time, people were working 80 to 100-hour work weeks. In 1866, the National Labor Union pressured Congress to pass a law mandating the 8-hour workday. While the law wasn't passed, it increased public support for the change. Until finally in 1869, President Ulysses S. Grant issued a proclamation to guarantee 8-hour workdays for government employees only. This was a strategic move to show that he believed in supporting workers in the private sector. In 1926, Henry Ford, a captain of industry and founder of Ford Motors, conducted research regarding the 40-hour workweek and discovered through his research that working more than 40 hours a week yielded only a small increase in productivity. 1938, Congress passed the Fair Labor Standards Act, which required employers to pay overtime to all employees who worked more than 44 hours a week. They amended the act 2 years later to reduce the work week to 40 hours. And now here we are in 2022, readdressing the situation. Japanese tech giant Panasonic had announced a 4-week work schedule. This is at the recommendation of the Japanese government. According to Washington Post, quote, the country's annual economic policy guidelines released this month, that being January, unveil plans to push employers to adopt 4-day workweeks, marking official acceptance of a once fringe approach that has gained increasing purchase internationally amid workplace changes wrought by the coronavirus pandemic. End quote. Japan would join Spain in this aligned ideal. Spain has since launched a 3-year experiment in which nationwide there would be a voluntary workweek of 4 days as opposed to the traditional 5-day workweek. Spain would compensate companies so that workers would not receive a pay reduction. Additionally, New Zealand and Finland's prime ministers have campaigned for the idea of a 4-day workweek. Also, Britain's Labour Party has made a gigantic push in 2019 for the workweeks to be shortened within this decade. Once again, history is repeating itself. Household name Kickstarter has started work on reducing the workweek to 4 days. Kickstarter's John Leland, head of data and analytics, states, quote, "There's more than enough evidence that suggests that more companies should at least try it." End quote. Afterward, the article continued highlighting a significant difference between Kickstarter and other brands, such as the fact that Kickstarter is a majorly computer-based company with a small number of employees. 90 employees, to be exact. However, Kickstarter being the first significant name to kickstart an acceptance of the 4-day workweek is really interesting. Pardon the pun. But how about a not-so-small company? Microsoft launched a 4-day workweek experiment in Japan. The tech giant gave employees 5 consecutive Fridays off and boosted sales per employee by 40%. Pages printed in the office fell by 59%, electricity consumption dropped by 23%, and 94% of employees were satisfied with the program. In order to supplement my perspectives on this, I watched a wonderful TED Talk by Julia Short, which I urge you all to check out on your own time. Once again, links in the description. She stated that in order for companies to transition comfortably into this model, they need to reevaluate the workflow. There are many meetings and communications that can be cut out of the work life in order to lower the number of days worked. According to a report from @Task in 2014, 59% of enterprise workers say wasteful meetings get in the way of their productivity. Additionally, on average, enterprise workers, these would be cited as workers who work at companies with over 1,000 employees, use only 45% of their time on their primary job duties. These interruptions can be reduced and more effective means of communications can occur by reevaluating how work is done. A 32-hour workweek decreases stress by allowing an extra day for relaxation. It also can ridiculously cut down costs and help the environment. Roadrunner Recycling states that an average office worker generates about 2 pounds worth of paper and paperboard products every day, and uses roughly 10,000 sheets of copy paper per year. By reevaluating and switching to a more digital form of document tracking, companies can improve turn time, become more effective in communication, better safeguard their company's and clients' information, and avoid costly paper expenses and be healthier for the environment. This reduction of time in the office would suffice to start heading in that direction. Okay, now that all that word vomit is done, I'm going to give you a little bit of my opinion on everything, just in case you are a business owner or you're trying to start up a business or you are a prospective business owner or whatever. There is a case to be made here. Okay, a 40-hour work week, in many cases, you can get the amount of work done that you get done in a 40-hour work week by reducing administration involved. What does that mean in English? What it means is this. I don't know how many of you work, judging from my analytics, it should probably be a majority of you. However, as an anecdotal piece of evidence, when I was working at Best Buy, I was a top performer in my department. I'm not going to tell you what department I worked in, but what it did is it taught me that there is a lot of issues when it comes to how we handle meetings. So I've been put in charge of a couple of meetings. I've been, code doing meetings and everything like that. The only thing is that what differed between mine and leadership's meetings is that my meetings were always about efficiency and how to cut down on the amount of work that you're doing. And every single time that we've had those meetings, we've seen productivity jump anywhere from about 13% to 43%. What does that mean in English? That means that, honestly, comparatively speaking, whenever I would give input about how things should be done, things got done more effectively. Additionally, there's a lot of time that could be cut down. If you have less meetings and you have less unneeded, phone calls and everything like that, you'll be able to cut down work by a great margin. See, the thing is that when you call someone, you're like, "Hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm doing great. How's the kids? My kids are doing pretty good. Jane just got 100 on her test. Very proud of her. Blah blah blah." That could have been cut down. There could have been, a text message or an email saying, "Hey, John, I really need you to work on this. Can you get it to me by X date?" Okay, thank you. That's a simple email, and it's something that can be done, and it'll take John no less than 40 seconds to read it, instead of having a small conversation about how John's doing in class. So these types of ways of communication and effectively having different people read and do things digitally is going to be more effective than having a one-on-one meeting. That being said, there are some cases where you would like to have quarterlies, to track how people are doing. Yes, that totally makes sense. However, constant meetings for the sake of trying to fill a quota is not something that is productive, nor is it conducive to a workplace environment, especially one that is modern. So there will be a video that will be coming out, and it's kind of going to piggyback off of this. I think that going forward into this whole series, I guess, where these are video essays that are a little bit of a takedown or a breakdown of what's going on within the world, and much more complex subjects, and breaking them down into more finer points so that people can have knowledge, and it's much more accessible. You'll just watch a 15 to 20 minute long video, and you'll walk away with more, as well as me giving you tools so that you can do your own research outside of this. Okay, so again, everything is linked down in the description down below. There is an audio transcript. It took me a very, very long time to do it. So do be aware of that. Please like the video. This took me hours. Okay, my girlfriend's probably extremely mad at me because it's taking me so long to do this. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm really trying to make this not. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm really trying to make this my job. Okay. And if y'all are willing to like and subscribe, it takes 5 seconds, but it means the world to me. So yeah, okay. So every video that I do, this is a breakdown. These are going to kind of piggyback off of each other. So there may be some duplicate sources or something like that. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, that I was going to be doing a takedown on scholarly articles and how they're locked behind paywalls and things like that. I'm going to be doing certain things like that, doing videos on those, and I'm also going to be doing a video on universal healthcare and universal basic income, essentially like a socialist-esque video, and that's actually going to be using some of the sources that are in here. Okay, so just be aware of that. That if you haven't gotten a complete sense of what I'm trying to create here, do check out the other videos if you're watching this in the past, not something this is not a recent video. Do check that out. If not, if you're watching this at current time, just wait a couple of weeks, and I promise you I will have a great video that will take everything that I've learned from this video and is just going to improve upon it. And that will be coming out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Okay, I'm gonna actually start working on it as soon as I finish editing down this one and processing it. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me ramble for about 15-20 minutes. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.